Yeah?
Yeah.
My number one is a game called Escape Dead Island on the Xbox 360. It's also it's on PC and PlayStation 3. Have you know what this is, right?
Yeah, I saw the review today on Eurogamer.
Oh, what did they? Was it not high?
I can't remember what score it gave. I thought maybe I didn't read the whole thing, but I'm aware of what the game is.
Okay, well, yeah, if you're not aware, it's a third-person action game by Fat Shark, who made Lead and Gold and War of the Roses, among other things. And it is supposed to bridge the gap between Dead Island and Dead Island 2, and it is both not recommended and nowhere near as bad as some of the reviews have said it is. I didn't know Eurogamer reviewed it. I have to go and have a look, because some of the reviews I've read have been not kind, but... it's the whole thing's rendered in this really appealing cel-shaded fashion that it's a little bit generic. It's all bug eyes and thick black lines and squared off foreheads and stuff, but it looks pretty appealing as far as I'm concerned. You play as an absolute schmuck called Cliff, who heads to he heads to Benoy Island to take photographs with a couple of friends in tow. And at first, there are a couple of puzzles. I use that term very loosely, but they involve using your camera to take some pictures because you're this aspiring journalist. But unfortunately, that's not really a gameplay system. It's something that barely happens in the game. What this really is a completely linear, completely passable stealth game that happens to have amazing gunplay in it. There are sort of elements of survival horror, so you can't just run around gunning everything down, which is a shame, because this would have been so much better if it was just an OTT shooter. But there's an ever-present waypoint. There is no freedom, and the AI couldn't be any stupider. And to be honest, I didn't actually mind that, because they're zombies, so they're supposed to be morons. I've never felt like I was shortchanged because they're not. You know, they run at you, they eat obliviously, or they stand still and just stare into space. That's it, and that didn't really bother me at all. One other annoying thing, incidentally, is that instructions come up ages in advance. Always. So you'll be walking along and you'll see on your screen, press RB to crouch, or LB, or whatever the button is, and you'll just think, what does that have to do with anything? And then you walk for a couple of seconds, and then you approach a rock that you have to duck underneath. There's no freedom at all, but it tells you what to do before you need to do it a lot of the time. But it ambles along fairly nicely. The characters are all unbelievably annoying shitheads, and they only speak in sarcasm and snark, and all of the dialogue sounds like no interactions that any human beings have ever had. Every single thing that's said in the game is basically the worst wisecrack you've ever heard. So I actually recommend playing this, or at least the first couple of hours, while listening to music or something, because the sound design is nothing to write home about either. You won't miss anything. I actually played a couple of hours of this with listening to a podcast. And I don't think I missed out on anything because the rest of it I played listening to what was going on, and it wasn't any great shakes. But there's also the customary jokes about how the red barrels, and the villain talking about how his name sounds like he's the mute it. It's also a bit of a technical shambles. There are elements that can just instantly change colour or change shade at a moment's notice. And there is this weird visual tick that I kept noticing that I had on my playthrough that happens almost whenever I was outside, where clumps of pixels sort of dance around before vanishing and then reappearing. It's a really weird effect. So this is definitely a buggy game, but almost all of those bugs are just cosmetic exclusively. I didn't really have many problems with regard to the gameplay. There are stealth sections that are excruciatingly boring, and environments are endlessly reused, because the playable areas of the map are actually very small, but you're constantly made to run from A to B to A to B to A to B just to prolong the length of the game, and that's frustrating. And there are bizarre things like the button layout. I think B is run, A is kill, or something. It never felt natural, and you can't change the buttons. I just thought that they'd given it the most eccentric button layout. I don't know why. There are collectibles galore, and this game hurls achievements at you. I mean, it does not let up with achievements. If you're a sucker for trophies or achievements, this is relentless. It's going to be one of those games that people pick up just to get an easy 1,000 gamer score. But basically what ruins the game and makes it not recommended even slightly is that It's these overlong stealth sections in which you walk along crouched, creeping up on zombies and stabbing them in the head. It's just, they're so very old and so very boring. I felt like I've done... I don't know how many times I've snuck up on somebody while I'm crouching and then press one button and kill them.
Yeah.
And there's a monotony to way too much of it, where you're traversing old ground to get to a new area, blah, blah, blah. And there are some clumsy action scenes where there's one action... Actually, no, it does it twice. There's two sort of frantic action scenes where systems are introduced that just don't work. At one point, you're supposed to sprint through this facility and press, I think it's LB... on 360 to knock zombies over as you run because you're trying to reach this door. So you keep doing that and it works fine, but whenever you get to a door, you have to. There's this long-winded door opening animation, and by the time you get to the door, there's 5 zombies who've just been knocked over who've come to get you. So you can't get out because they're hammering you, and it's just completely. You have to stop and kill them. That's the whole point. This system they implement can't be used.
Right.
There's also no health bar. There are health upgrades that you find, but you never know how close to death you are. The amount of blood that appears on your screen that's supposed to denote how close to death you are is not accurate ever. So you can feel like you're fine and look like you're fine and then just drop dead, which is obviously no fun.
No.
But on the whole, this is disposable. It's just throwaway. It's trash, but it's not unenjoyable. I think the biggest issue is pricing. It's a full-priced game,
Right.
and it should be downloadable only, perhaps, or £20. And you would take a punt on it. I mean, I don't know if there's such thing as a Dead Island hardcore fan, but I like both of the Dead Island games I've played. If I saw this for £20, I'd just pick it up because the developer, Fat Shark are not a terrible development team or anything. I think they've made some promising games, but £40? I like this about as much as I think it's possible for anyone to like it, because I am a real sucker for shit action games, but it's not worth £40. The gunplay is really tight. When it's a shooter, I wish it was a shooter. I mean, it's so fun to just blast zombies' head off. It's so slick and so fun. The hand-to-hand stuff is very, very lame in comparison. So this is cheap. I don't mean literally cheap. It's cheaply made. It's occasionally a little bit nasty, but I would be lying if I told you I didn't enjoy it. It's reasonably high-level, absolute crap.
Okay.